Hi everyone. So, as promised, this is my weight loss story, and so this is how it went. May of this year, I decided to have weight loss surgery, and this was not an easy decision to come up with. I was told about this decision in January, to make this decision in January, and so I had quite a bit of time to think about it. So, I thought about it. I was scared. I was really scared. I was panicking. I didn't want to put in too much hope into it and then it didn't come through, or I didn't want to not put in too much hope in it and get disappointed. I didn't want to be disappointed in any single way because this has been a really long journey for me. And so in May, we traveled out of the country, me and a relative of mine, and I had this surgery in India. So the surgery I had was a VSG, or a lap sleeve surgery. What that means is they cut the size of your stomach and leave a sleeve like the size of a banana. So they cut 85% of your stomach and leave 15% of it. What that means is basically if your stomach is a liter, they cut out 850 ml, and the maximum your stomach can contain is 150 ml. So that is the size of the stomach I currently have now. So my story basically has been long. Most of you know about it. I have been on Slim Possible. I have tried to lose weight in many other ways besides Slim Possible, and so it's been such a long history, from when I was in primary school to high school to campus, and even outside of campus. It has been such a long, tedious journey. So this was a permanent solution to a very disturbing, for a very long struggle. And so I appreciate what has brought me here. So the decision to go to Slim Possible was one of the toughest decisions I've ever made, because I didn't want to put myself out there like that and then fail. So I went on to Slim Possible and I ended up losing 27 kgs. And that was a massive feat because we were being worked out like madness, and it basically worked. It was basically the old-fashioned way: diet and exercise. So we worked out 5 times a week, 2 hours every day, and it was difficult. And so you can keep up with the competition, you had to work out on your own. So I would walk home. I would walk from home to a certain to maybe the gym, or to, it depended on what I was feeling that day. I was exhausted a lot of the time, but it worked and I was feeling good. I was feeling fly. I was feeling hot. It was just beautiful. Then a year later, I started gaining weight, and I didn't know how to maintain it. The motivation to remain in the gym was not there. I actually paid for I made a subscription at the gym, and I couldn't maintain it at all. Maybe because it was like a crowd funded thing. So there's safety in numbers basically. So the motivation dwindled and then it died. So I started gaining weight, a kilo at a time, a kilo at a time, a kilo at a time. And so eventually I ended up pregnant. So when I got pregnant, I added a little bit more weight. And because in my pregnancy I didn't have a big appetite, I wasn't eating much. So I kind of maintained a little bit. My entire pregnancy, I only gained 7 kilos. So eventually I super gained after baby came. I gained all the way back, and years later I gained all 27 kilos plus more. If you follow my page at SheVSG Journey KE on Instagram, you will see how high my weight was when I started. When I went in for this surgery, I was at 125. That is a whole 14.5 kilos above the weight I started with at Slim Possible. So eventually it started weighing down on me and I didn't know what to do, but I had to just keep on keeping on. In the process of all of that, I ended up falling in love with myself. And so my weight didn't define me per se. In as much as I kept it at the back of my mind, it didn't define me. So I didn't really hate myself for being very big, as much as I didn't appreciate being that big. It came with a lot of pinpointing and a lot of name calling and a lot of looks and eyes and all of that. It came with a lot of those things. And so in the back of my mind, it was not an easy thing to be that big, in as much as I loved myself that big. So this thought was brought about to me in January, and someone just asked me, would you be interested in weight loss surgery? And I was like, why not? I mean, it's a good idea, why not? And I knew that to do it I would have to fly out, and so that excited me a little bit more. So I went into prayer, I went into talking to God about it, because I didn't want to make a decision that would be detrimental to my future health. And so I'd seen what weight loss surgery can do. I'd seen the effects of it. There's some people who end up getting reflux, acidity issues, and they end up throwing up, and it was just messy, and I didn't want that. So I went and told God, if this is your will, this is what I want. I do not want to throw up, I do not want to have acidity issues. I want my surgery to be successful, and my tool to work perfectly without all these other issues coming. So eventually I went to church, and the pastor who was preaching that day said that sometimes what God doing a new thing can mean is that you don't have to go through the entire process of what other people have had to go through. So he gave the example of getting a house, and he said some people have to go through school and finish and get a job, then finish, then get enough money to get a mortgage, and then now get a house and then finish paying the mortgage. That is one route of getting the house. And he made the point that for some people it can mean leaving school and getting the house. And for me, this was such a huge dream. I used to dream of these things when I was small. I used to dream like, what if I woke up one day and there was a zip on my face, and I would just unzip myself and remove this entire skin, and I would come out this hot looking girl who was skinny, and she looked like a model. And I used to think of those things a lot. So what happened was that basically so basically this surgery afforded me that dream, that I would wake up one day and I would be a completely different person. And it scared me because I didn't know what to expect. I've never been a small girl, I've never been mainstream shaped for many people. In fact, even after losing weight in Slim Possible, I was still a bit chubbier. I was still on the thicker side. I was size 16, 14 large, 16 small. So I was still big, and it still wasn't the small girl you used to see. So I decided to go for the surgery, and I went, and we went to India, and it was something special, this surgery, because they required me not to eat 18 hours before the surgery, and the night before I had been caking all night, so I didn't eat, I didn't have breakfast, and they were telling me I couldn't eat anything on the flight there, I couldn't eat anything in the hotels, I couldn't eat anything anywhere. So I begged the person I was traveling with to have some lunch, at least to have something that I can eat for the last time and we go. So I had a salad, and it was my favorite salad. It's a chicken Caesar salad with blue cheese dressing. I love that salad. So yeah, that's the last thing I ate, and we went. And when we got there, I was done for so many tests, and they have to check all these things just to make sure that you're fit for surgery and you won't die on them. So I had this surgery, and immediately when I woke up, I was in so much pain, because I don't know what happened, but I was in so much pain, and they kept injecting morphine in me. I was not used to having a oxygen mask on my face, so that really messed me up, because I kept removing, and the nurses were upset, so they kept returning it, and the pain didn't help. So eventually the pain subsided, and when I saw the person I traveled with, I got better, I got calm, and then I fell asleep. And when I woke up, they required me to walk just so I can prevent getting blood clots in my system. So I had to try and walk, but I was a bit dizzy, so they told me I could rest a bit, and then they put this thing that massages your legs so that your blood can flow continuously in your body. So yeah, so after that, I was in hospital for 3 more days, and basically they were just monitoring how my system was working, was functioning, how I was taking the surgery, because now at this point I'm not allowed to eat, and I'm not allowed to eat for the next 2 weeks. I was on a strict liquid diet. For the first 3 days it was clear, so water and lemon water and orange water is what I was allowed to have. And then after 3 days I was allowed to have buttermilk, the Indian kind, which is not very nice. I didn't like it personally. Not yogurt, but buttermilk. I could have tea, I could have lemon tea, I could have lemon juice, I could have lemonade or whatever, but I had to have it sweetened artificially, not with sugar, because that doesn't work with the surgery. So I had that done. I stayed there, then we moved to the hotel where I recovered, and then we flew back. It was a bit excruciating for me because I couldn't sit up straight for too long, so I had to stay lying down, and the flight was long, so it was a bit tough, but beyond that it was okay. So I had to get on to working out really quickly so I can lose weight. And the miracle first was, I entered that hospital at 125.6, and when I was discharged, the surgery was done Saturday afternoon, and I was discharged Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I'd already lost 5 kilos, and that was shocking to me. I was asking them if the weighing scale was working, if it is malfunctioning, because I couldn't believe that I'd already lost 5 kilos that fast. And so we went to the hotel. I was excited. Yani, this thing was working really quickly. It excited me. It gave me so much psych to keep at it. So we went, we did some shopping, and at that point now I can't buy clothes because I'll be losing weight so quickly. And we got back to Nairobi. When we got back to Nairobi, I had 1 more week of clear fluids. Then 2 weeks later, I can have soups, pig soups, and some mashed foods, like pureed food, basically like a kid. So I used to have potatoes or eggs, and basically the diet I'm supposed to maintain is a high protein, low carb diet. So this is nothing like um, keto, because keto tends to be high fat, high protein, low carb, and this is basically low fat, low carb, and high protein. The reason is there's no supplement for protein other than protein shakes, and so that's the only way you can, or protein bars and all of that. So that's the only way you can supplement protein in your body enough for your body to function. So if you don't take enough protein, your hair starts falling off, your nails start working out, start breaking, your skin starts looking a mess. It's bad. So basically they encourage you to have a lot of protein. After that, after those 4 weeks, I could have meatier food, more solid food basically. So I could introduce a bit of meat, and they tell you 6 teaspoons of food if you can finish it. And to be truly honest, you can't. It's madness. If you take more than you need to eat, it comes up to your throat and you can throw up, or it can expand your stomach, and it can be very painful. So what they tell you is you need to be very careful about how you eat, so that when your stomach, because if you eat too much too fast and too soon, your stomach can expand and the staples can come off, and a leakage from your stomach can be fatal. So they don't joke about those things, and I'm not trying to die, you guys. So I did not do that, apart from once when I had some soup, and I thought I was dying, you guys. I thought I was dying. The pain in my stomach was madness. So after 6 weeks, I was allowed to eat a full diet, and that's what I did. And from then on, I've been maintaining, I've been eating. I've not made exactly the correct choices all the time, but I have lost weight. And 6 months down the line, I've lost 32 kgs. Now I'm 93. Yes, 93. The last time I weighed, and that is massive, because that's more than I've ever lost ever in my life. Even with Slim Possible, I didn't lose that much. And even in this process, it's so difficult to keep to maintain my level head, to make sure I'm not eating wrong even when I'm stressed. I'm an emotional eater, so when I'm stressed out or when I'm feeling low, I just want to eat something. So what happens is Sometimes I want to have chocolate, ladies, time of the month. So I want to have chocolate, I want to have Oreos, I want to have biscuits, I want to have this, I want to have that. So I have to calm down and ask myself, why do I want to eat this? Why am I doing this? All of that. So I have to maintain. Sometimes I eat chocolate, you guys, but but yeah, not all the time, not as much as I used to eat it before. And yeah, now I'm good. I've lost 32. It's still a struggle. It's still a struggle every day, because sometimes you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not seeing the size going down, but you're seeing the kilos going and you're wondering what's happening. Or you're not seeing the kilos going, but your size is going down, and it can be a bit demoralizing at that point when you're at plateauing or stalling. But beyond that, it's been a fabulous journey. It's been exciting, it's been fun, it's been different, and I've seen what this surgery can do for people. And people think of it as a shortcut. It really isn't. It's not a shortcut at all. You guys, you have to work out, you have to eat right. You can't just eat fatty foods and imagine you're gonna lose weight. It doesn't work out. Trust me, I have gained like a kilo back from a week of eating badly. So it's not a shortcut. It just helps you not eat a lot. It just portions your meals for you. But beyond that, you have to work out, you have to eat right, you have to stay right. It's not negotiable with this thing. So yeah, so this is my journey. This is my first YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, please ask, please send them. Please go on my page and ask all those questions. Follow, subscribe, whatever people do on YouTube. I have no clue. But yeah, I'm excited about this journey and I want to share with you, and I have maybe 10 more episodes to share, and I hope I will be enlightening and I'll be answering the questions you guys have been asking me on Instagram. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye.